So we are here today with the founder and CEO of Kameko Gambia. Thank you so much for making the time for us, Ebou.
All right. Thank you very much.
And maybe just before we get into what Kameko Gambia is and what Ryde Africa is, perhaps you could tell us a bit more about yourself and how you came into entrepreneurship.
Great. I am Ebou Lawrence Mendy, and I'm a Gambian, of course, and I studied here right from nursery to the university. I didn't study outside the Gambia, yes. And, in my final year of the university, I didn't actually know exactly which area should I go in regards to the technology field. But, when I did my internship with one company in Gambia, I began to realize that, hey, look, I think I can go in for software development. And that's where I choose that career of software development after the 8 months internship. Then from there, I worked with the company for about 3-4 years. Then I got a job offer with International Consumer Service Sweden, also called alatest.com. So I worked as an offshore software developer. I worked with them for some time, and also get another offer with Xandr.net. They're also based in London, and I also worked as an offshore web developer. But then because I always say to myself, before I hit the age of 30, I would like to at least, start my own company. And around 2016, that was around my 28th birthday, and I was approaching my 28th birthday. Then I decided to say, look, I have to start my company. And, towards early 2017, February, I quit my job, and then I started Kameko.
Okay, so what did you study in school?
Yeah, I studied computer science.
Computer science. Okay, so software development and web development was right up your alley.
Yeah, so I get into that basically during my internship.
Yeah.
That's the time that I begin to see that, hey, look, I can actually do better in this area. So yeah.
Okay, so how come the idea to start your own company? Why has this always, a specific reason why this has always been a dream? Because I think most people growing up are taught to get into, like, you go to school, get a good education, and then get into the system of 9 to 5 and sort of climb up the corporate ladder until you're a manager or things like this. So how come the desire to start your own business?
Yeah, I definitely like that because my mom did not actually have a formal education, yeah. And I lost my dad in my first day in university, but my mom is actually an entrepreneur. She sells almost everything, But so when I lost my dad, my mom was able to complete my university education through what she was doing. So I've realized that my mom, she's so influential in our area. And she inspired me a lot. And I believe if I want to be more influential in what I do, create more jobs, make more wealth, I actually need to start my own company and not, working for somebody. So, but another thing too that actually pushed this more is I read a book, I can't remember, and there something said, if you work for somebody, you are helping that individual to achieve his or her dreams. You understand? And I keep thinking about this and all. So this is something that actually helped to push me to get to that level.
Okay, wonderful. So your mom was I'm so sorry to hear about the loss of your dad. So your mom was an inspiration to you because she was an entrepreneur herself. And also you read the book that if you're working for someone, that's basically you helping them to achieve their dreams, but you had your own dreams that you wanted to achieve. Okay, good. So you finished school, you studied in Gambia all through, yeah? And then afterwards you do the internships, and then you get offshore jobs in London, Sweden, and so on. And then you decide, okay, we're clocking 30 soon. And you decide that you want to start your own company. So what was your initial step towards making that dream a reality?
Yeah, in fact, before I quit my job, there was this program called Meet Gambia. So it's basically trying to, bring out the potential of, the entrepreneurial potential in you. It's a 6 days intensive program. So, I went to do the program, you know. And the day, at the end of the day, I mean, the sixth day, I was like, hey, tomorrow I don't actually need to go back to my office job. I just have to start my own business. And also, it's actually prepared me a lot, and it gives me more confidence that I can actually start my, because imagine working for an offshore company, that's a lot of money for, somebody living here. So I was like, hey, but for me to start my business, then I have to actually forgo that, the money that I get every day or every month from this company, and I'm also moving to somewhere that I don't even know whether I actually make this amount of money every month. So it was tough, yeah, but I believe that it's right. It's time for me to leave, and I had to leave. Yeah, I had to.
That's very powerful to hear that there are programs that are instilling this entrepreneurship culture into young people in Gambia. You said it's called
And protect Gambia.
Protect Gambia.
Yeah, that's where the YEP office is now. That's where actually the.
Okay, cool. So, how did you finance the whole setup? Had you been saving up while you were working, or?
Yes, I did that, but basically, when I quit my job, I was actually working from my house, because one problem that I found was we have a lot of small businesses in Gambia, and they have a problem when it comes to paying tax, simply because they don't keep proper records. So as you said, the financial records, and most of the time when the revenue authority officials go to their shops, they just look at it and then say, hey, look, you have to pay this amount of tax. But for the fact that they don't have records, I mean, financial records whatsoever, it's difficult for them to say no, so they have to comply and pay. So I was like, hey, let me develop a lightweight accounting software for these small businesses. They can actually use it on their phone. They don't need to put up a big screen there, So when I quit, I started working from the house. So I was working from my home for about 6 months, trying to develop the application and all. So, but before I was done, there was a bid that was open by Gaipa. So I applied for the bid, and I won the bid. So when I won the bid, then that was the money that I actually used to rent an office space and hired two young Gambians. Then we started work. So that's basically how I started.
That's how Kameko Gambia started. Nice. So just for anyone who doesn't know, what is Kameko Gambia?
Yeah, Kameko Gambia, it's basically a software development company. So we focus more on customized software solutions for businesses. Like, you tell us the business processes and whatsoever, then we develop the application based on what you want. So we don't actually have, like, off-the-shelf packages that we sell. But we just work on the customer's process, and then we develop the application for you.
Wonderful. So you're trying to give solutions to, is it small, medium enterprises in Gambia?
Yeah, small, medium enterprises.
By developing software for them.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's talk about Ryde Africa. How did that come about?
Yeah, it's an interesting story though. Around towards the end of 2017, that time I just returned from Cote d'Ivoire, and I came the following day. I met one of my friends. And night before that, she actually went to a concert, and on her way home, she decided to take a town trip. And but when she actually went to her street, because the street was dark, the driver decided to stop. He took her phone, took her bag, and then pushed her out of the car, then drove away. And at that point, she could not actually get the registration number of the car or any other thing. She doesn't even know the driver's name and all. So when I met her in the morning, she was explaining the story to me, and I was like, "Nah, how can you solve this?" Because at that point, I don't even know where the driver is, and even if I know the driver, what can I do? Maybe the driver could have just beaten me up too. So then I was like, why not we, can I work with Uber and then introduce it in Gambia? But after a second thought, I was like, can we also develop something that is similar to Uber and then just have it for the Gambia? So that's basically how Ryde Africa came about. Then because it was on a Sunday that I met her. She went to a concert on a Saturday. So I met her on a Sunday. So when I get to the office on Monday, then I called up the team. The team, I was like, hey, look, why not we introduce something like this in Gambia and see how we can help? So then we started debating about it. We started debating almost that entire week. What is possible, what is next not possible, how can we make it better, and all. And at some point, we agreed and we started working on the concept.
Is this something that's common here? Had you heard of it before this instance with your friend?
No, before the instance with my friend.
Yeah.
I did not definitely do that. But when I started sharing this story with people, I began to get that, okay, hey, this particular individual also had a similar story. You understand? So, but before that, to be honest, I did not get the story. I like something similar. But when I started sharing this with people, you hear that some people say, hey, somebody actually get this, somebody actually get that.
Okay, so then, what you started Ryde Africa to provide a safe way for people to get around town. Okay, wonderful. And you said it took you 1 week, you and your team, it took you 1 week to come up with the...
to agree that we can actually start this.
Okay. Okay, cool. So how does Ryde Africa work?
Yeah, so basically it's an app, mobile app, and you download it. It's on Play Store and also on App Store as well. So you download the app. The driver has his own app, but for the driver, we need to register you in our system. Even if you download the app as a driver, we won't be able to use it until we get the required documents from you, like the driver's license. We need to check your cab. We need to check your insurance and all, just to make sure that these things are intact. So once we do that, then we approve it in the system, then we start using it. And then for the passenger, you download your passenger app, and when you want to go out, or you use the app to request for the nearest driver.
Okay. It makes a lot of sense, because even just driving through Banjul, we see a lot of taxis for sure, but we also see a lot of people standing on the side of the road, like waving the taxis down. So it means that, one, there are taxi drivers just driving around looking for passengers, but there are also passengers who also are looking for these taxis. So it makes a lot of sense to create an app that not only makes sure that you get around, but also makes sure that people are safe. So let's talk a little bit about God's Eye, which is what I hear the system that you have for making sure that everything is safe. So how do you ensure that your passengers are safe using Ryde Africa and the God's Eye?
Yeah, the God's Eye basically helps to track the driver. Immediately the driver picks up a passenger, we can track the driver, from where the driver picked up the passenger to where the driver dropped the passenger off. So that's what we call the God's Eye. So it helps us with regards to the safety of the passenger and all. So, we can track. So if there's anything, if the customer just shared the emergency, then we can actually track. And, even if the customer forgets something in the cab, we can always, if the customer says, hey, look, I requested this ride at this time, then we can easily check and then see, hey, look, it was this driver. He took you from this place and you used this particular route to your destination. So that's what basically the God's Eye does. It works anytime a driver picks up a customer, it activates.
Oh, nice. So you mentioned that the first thought was to maybe collaborate with Uber.
Yeah.
So why didn't you? And what would you say is the biggest difference between what Uber does and what Ryde Africa does?
Yeah, because one thing is, during that period of discussion, we realized that, hey, look, this cannot just be for Gambia. We can actually extend this to other African market. Then we were like, okay, we can actually develop an app for the African market. And that's basically where the Ryde Africa comes into play, not just Ryde Gambia. So we said, hey, look, let's actually do this for the African market. But for us to do it for the African market, we also need to know that there are some challenges. There are certain things that, if you want to bring in over, it may not work properly. One thing is the internet connectivity, very, very slow sometimes, yeah. And some of our streets are not named, some of the, So all those things are part of the things that we need to look at. And, how can we develop something that can actually use, looking at all these challenges, how can we develop something that can actually help, if not 100%, but at least very close to this. So that's basically what we do. So now what we do is let's say if I want to come somewhere around here and I realize that, hey, look, maybe my house is not actually captured or is not actually named, on Google Map, I can say, okay, request to the closest, you understand, the closest place whatsoever. Yeah, so I can use that. And then, if I like to, once I do that, the app also allows me to actually move, to the exact place. If I know how to use the Google Map, I can manually move.
As a passenger?
Yeah. Once I do that, then automatically updates the coordinate.
Okay.
So I can manually move to the exact location. So I just need to get the closest landmark. Then if I like, I can move it to the closest, to my exact destination.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, let me just see if I got that. So there's obviously the issue of Google Maps not really being up to date with the specific locations, and also sometimes the internet doesn't work very well. So if I, as a passenger, put in where I want to be picked up, like the map will automatically appear on the app, and I can move my point where I see it to somewhere that's more recognizable, and then the driver can come and pick me up from this updated location.
And another thing that we do is we also added a call button on the app. So in the event that I don't know exactly where you are as a driver, I can easily trigger the call from the app. Because when the passenger is registered with his or her phone, and we use the OTP code to actually verify the phone number. So the driver's phone number is on the app, and also in the system, and also the passenger. So I can trigger the call from the app. So once I do that, I can, the driver can actually call and say, hey, I want to know exactly where you are, and then you can explain.
That's wonderful. So those are the two main differences between Uber and Ryde Africa.
Right. And we also try as much as possible to make the app so light that, the internet issue won't be much of a problem.
Okay. And you develop everything in-house?
Yeah.
Okay. And we've already talked about a little what it looks like on the passenger side, but what about for the driver? How do you organize that? Is it already taxis that are existing that come to you and say, hey, I want to be a part of Ryde Africa, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's basically, the idea basically is to see, okay, I'm a taxi driver over there, I want to join. Then you come in, we look at we have to verify some of the criteria and see whether you actually got them. So once we do that, and then we enroll you to the system. But for now, we are working with specific drivers because, we want to do that for the rest of this year, actually. And then because that will also help us understand exactly what we are doing. So for now we are working with specific drivers. We get some drivers that will come. We just register you and say, hey, look, once we open it to everybody, then you can come on board. So that's basically what we are trying to do for now. But yeah, it's to get drivers to be part of. But we also have some people that express some interest, like they all have their own transport company, and then they buy taxis and all, and then we partner with them. And recently, we had some discussion with IOM, that's the International Organization for Migration, with regards to their returnees, integration program. Because some of them, once they come back, they give them a package, they give them some money, and some of them get into the transportation industry. Some of them buy cars and all. So they're like, hey, look, how can we get these people more organized? So we had a meeting with them. They called us. We had a meeting with them, and they wanted us to get some of their returnees, the drivers on our platform. So now what they do is they buy, smartphone for these returnees, and also give them data, every month for 6 months, just to get them used to the platform. But the discussion is still ongoing, and we hope to get that worked as well.
So this is for people coming back to the diaspora and looking for employment?
Yeah, we have some migrants that actually, irregular migrants that actually got trapped maybe in Libya and other places, and they are deported back to the Gambia, but they need to be reintegrated. So IOM have a package for that. So when they come back, they give them some money, to start something, maybe a business or something like that. So, but some of them will actually buy cars for this. But how can they make it more sustainable? Because some people leave because of the economic crisis also. But but if I buy a car and I'm not getting the amount of money that I need, I may still sell the car and go back again. So you realize, but how can they make this more sustainable? So they want to see how best we can work together and get them. So there will be more of ride drivers.
So you're working with both local drivers and the IOM. What other partners do you have?
Yeah, for now, yeah, those are the ones. Yeah, those are the ones that we are working. But as I said, some companies actually express interest in working. But as I said, we still close it. Because as we do, we want to also understand this, and we are also incorporated in Ghana as well. Yeah.
Yes, I read a bit about that.
Yeah, sure.
How do you make money? What commission do you charge, or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we actually we make money through commission, and we also do for now. We have some customers that do school pickups for their kids. I'm in the office. I don't have time to go pick up my kid. You can subscribe to Ryde, and then we get you your kid every day. And that, and we also have some people that do the airport shuttle. So these are some of the things that we use. But for now, we make money more on commission and all. Though we don't have a lot of money yet, though. So yeah.
Okay. I also read a bit about you have a dispatch center.
Yes, the dispatch is basically for let's say I don't have a smartphone, I don't have internet, but I need a safe ride. So what we do is you can call us and say, hey, look, I'm at Friendship Hostel and I want to go to the YEP office. Yeah. So once you tell us that information, then we key in the information in our system, and then we run the system and then get you the closest driver based on where you are. And then we'll just give you a call and say, hey, look, the driver with registration number XYZ will be in a location in the next 5-10 minutes. You understand? So that's basically how we do that.
Wow, wonderful. So that also tackles the internet issue.
Yeah, the internet is.
Okay. So what other challenges do you have other than, for example, internet?
Yeah, getting the right drivers. Yeah, the right drivers. It's actually a big challenge, and that's why we said, hey, look, let's close this and understand the drivers. Basically, what do they want? Because you also have one problem here is, okay, Dulcie is new in the Gambia. I'm a taxi driver. I realized that, hey, look, she doesn't know the fares about the fares or something. Then what I can do is maybe from here I can decide to overcharge you. But like with the app, they don't have that. You understand? So it's the app that charges you basically how much you're going to pay. So they don't have that, and some drivers don't like that aspect. You understand? So it's also one of our challenges. So but we have to make the driver understand that, hey, look, you can actually make more money with the app. So, and that also brings back to closing it to a certain number of people. So we can use that story once we open it. Hey, look, this particular driver makes this amount of money every week with the app. Maybe you, who is actually running like that, you don't actually make that amount of money. So that's basically what. Yeah, because closing it to also give us problem because some people know about the app and when they request they don't get. But we are not much worried about that end. What we are more worried about is actually understanding the market and also understanding the drivers and all.
Okay, so finding the right drivers and of course the fare. How does the app calculate that? Is it by distance and time?
No, we use distance simply because here if you want to use time, we'll have a problem. Yeah, we use distance. So now, like the normal taxi now, if I want to take a taxi from here to place Z, the driver will charge me, let's say $50, and that's how much I have to pay when I get there. So we use the same concept with the app. So the app gives you, okay, you have to pay, let's say $100 from this place to this place. And then once you do that, and then once you get there, you pay. But also we give the driver, in our contract with the driver, give them the liberty that, okay, once you get to that destination and I mean, the passenger wants to extend, go further, you can negotiate that outside the app. That's for you. So we don't get, our commission only comes from the first, where you get to that. So that's what we do.
So from the time you decided to start Kameko, that was in 2017, right?
Yeah.
And initially it was about developing solutions for businesses by developing software for them. And then this came about, Ryde Africa, you sort of stumbled upon it. What would you say is your mission now with Ryde Africa and with Kameko Gambia?
Yeah, Ryde Africa is somehow dominating Kameko though, because some people know me about that I do Ryde Africa, but they don't know that I do Kameko as well. They never know that Kameko is actually the parent, yeah. But notwithstanding, obviously, sometimes products, I mean brand and all, are more popular than the company itself. So I think that's basically why. And again, have more people that will actually want to use Ryde. But for Ryde, our vision is actually to be in most African cities. That's what we are looking at. And we actually did testing in some, like we did testing in Dakar, you know, some feasibility study in Dakar and Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan. We also did some feasibility study because we also see, okay, the French aspect of it, how can we get that incorporated? You know, so we did that. So, but then it's basically for the African markets. That's what we are looking at. For Kameko will continue to, you know, provide solutions for businesses, especially the customized aspect of it. And, you know, maybe also it actually born another, you know, big company out of it. But that's basically what we are looking at. Because for Ghana, we want to start full operation, you know, towards the end of this year in Accra, and making sure that, you know, everything, because right now the team there, it's registering. We have done the legal aspect of it, you know, registering and everything. So the team now is actually trying to, you know, register some drivers, you know, because Accra is a big city, and we don't want to start like you request you don't get, you request you don't get. And it's not actually good for us over there. So we need to get a good number of drivers on the platform before we start full operation. But we are looking at least the last quarter of this year, then we'll actually.
So the plan is to scale not only in Gambia but in other cities in Africa.
Yeah, that's basically what.
Okay. What advice would you give to young people in the Gambia and in Africa?
Yeah, we obviously there's a lot that we can do because especially Africa has a lot of problems. Yes, we know that Africa has a lot of problems, and once you change a problem to solution, you make money, and so that means we have a lot of opportunities. You know, in as much as we have a lot of problems, we also have a lot of opportunities, because once you look around, you see a lot of problems. So we can just turn those problems into opportunities. And so these are some of the things that I would like, you know, young people just have to be vigilant and, you know, try to look for opportunities around them than trying to look for it very far. You know, as I said, I actually had an opportunity to leave. I could have just left and then go stay somewhere and do what I have to do, get my monthly salaries and all. But, you know, but once I was able to discover or find a problem that I can solve, you know, that's actually something great. So I think that's basically what we have to look at. And another thing is, we also, especially in Gambia, we have a problem of people thinking that, okay, maybe somebody's watching me right now and also like, hey, this guy's making a lot of money. Let me also start a ride company. You understand? But it does not work like that. And, you know, behind what I am talking, there are so many things that actually happened before today. So, without that, you know, passion, you know, that drive to make sure that I solve this particular problem, I wouldn't actually get to this point. So that's what people should understand. Otherwise, if you do not get your why correctly, you know, you may not actually get to the right point. So people have to actually understand the why of what they are about to do. Why am I actually getting to do this? You know, and once I get that, even if the money do not come, I still love what I am doing. But that's the point. Like with Ryde, we are not making money, but we love what we do. We love talking about it and all because we know that we are doing something good. So nothing will actually stop us. But if I had started this because I want to make some money, or I realized that hey, look, maybe Uber is making a lot of money, or companies, we have some, ride-hailing apps that big companies bought. That's a lot of money, and I also get into that. And the money did not. 1 year, the money did not come. The second year, the money did not come. Hey. You understand? So that's basically where the problem is, and I think we have to be very careful when it comes to starting. And also, yeah, a lot of opportunities in Africa. We can stay on the develop our own, just provide the solutions for our own, you know.
And that makes a lot of sense for me because I'm not too sure who said this, but I was also reading a book like you, and someone said that as long as you can solve a problem, you will be able to make money. So yeah, they're not really. We should look at them more as opportunities and not particularly specifically as problems. But also, it's important to not just go for the money, but to understand what it is you're passionate about, what it is you want to solve, and why you want to solve it. And because the money will always follow later on once you have this solution.
That's it. Because but the most important thing is basically the idea. Yes, we have challenges here because we don't have a lot of investors, angel investors and all. But the most powerful thing is the idea. But once you get the right idea and you sell it to people, the money will come.
You're here on a Sunday working with a lot of young people. What motivates you to do that?
Yes, I've been a youth leader for, like, starting from my primary school. I've been a leader in the school to the university and all, and I have done a lot of youth work outside the church. And working. I did not do a lot of work. Like 4 years back, I only go to church after Sunday, then I go home. I didn't even interact with a lot of youths inside the church. But outside the church, I do a lot of events with youths and all. But at some point, I begin to realize that we need to do something with the young people in the church. So that's where I actually was part of the youth coordinating committee. And then I was like, hey, look, now we are going to focus on 3 areas. We are going to do social, we are going to do spiritual, but we also have to add leadership aspect in this. So once we get these three, in a human being, it's actually great. So now, with the, we started doing like the annual youth empowerment seminar. We call it IS. And then there we invite people to share their stories. We invite speakers to talk to the young people. And all, just to try to see how best we can work on the mindset. Because sometimes we are trapped by the spiritual aspect of it. And sometimes too, we actually use spirituality to cover up our laziness. God will provide, we pray, and all that. But we still have to work. And it's actually scriptural that in as much as you pray, you still have to work, yeah? So, how can we change this mentality? So we have to introduce this, amongst the youth coordinating committee. So, then we started the youth weekend, bring the young people together and, let them help each other, let them help develop each other, inspire each other. We invite speakers and all together. We have fun, we have some social, we have games and all. We go to the beach, we have games and everything, football, and we have some seminars, we have speakers that comes in. So just to make sure that we get, and this year we actually have youths from Senegal that comes in. That alone will also help. At least they can share their experience. Because looking at the delegation from Senegal, their youths are actually more mature than ours. So that's an advantage for our youths as well.
Would you say that you're a mentor?
Yes, I have a lot of mentees. Yeah, a lot of people come to me for that, and I do a lot of coaching for young people. I do not have a formal coach something, but like a lot of people come to me and all, and one of them is actually here in the camp. She actually did the Empretech that actually give me that. She just completed yesterday. So I have.
Did you have any mentors yourself?
Like I do. Yeah, I have a mentor.
What role have your mentors or your mentor played in your journey?
Yeah, I love that. In fact, starting my company, he also contributed, you know, because I said, hey, I have to start. At some point, he'll be like, when are you starting your company? When are you starting your company? I was like, I'll start. But you are approaching 30, remember? So, he helped. And he pushes, like, sometimes if I know very well that there are certain things are going to be so challenging for me, I'll not tell him. But once I tell him something, he keeps reminding me every time, hey, you said you're gonna do this. How far? What have you done so far? So he always tries to me, he's actually more than a mentor now. Because he always tries to know where I am, what I am doing, what are the challenges and all. So even if I miscommunicating to him, like, you actually ask what's going on. And even this morning he came here, just to find out what actually went on. So my mentor definitely did a lot. And my mom too. Yeah, my mom did a lot. Despite the fact she doesn't even understand what I am doing. Yeah. But she always advised, and just to make sure that I'm also very careful in the things that I do as well. So she does. Yeah.
Apart from your mom, what did your friends and maybe peers say when you decided, okay, I'm not going to do a job, I'm going to start my own enterprise? What was their reaction?
Yes. One of them actually, so one of them actually asked me whether I was insane. Yeah, seriously, and somebody was like, "You are dreaming. What's going on? Why do you need to start your own company? You don't even know where you're going. And the Gambia, so many problems and all, and Africa, so many problems. But why do you want to start?" So, yeah, I got that. I got that during that time. I got that a lot. But I also believe that there was the time. That was the time for me to go, and I had to go and start my own.
Thank you so much, Ebou, for making the time, for sharing your inspiring story, and for the great work you are doing in the Gambia to create security for passengers.
Thank you, and it's definitely my pleasure. And this is a great opportunity, I believe. And as far as my work is concerned and all, and I also thank you and enjoy the Gambia outdoor.
Thank you.
All right.